Hey guys, Marsing in here bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we're going to start off looking at the new EZAs that came out today with the INT ZAMASU. So we are going to run him, of course, on the 200% team with the Tech LR Zamasu. This is a pretty good rotation for him to start out with here, considering we can get a few hits in, because this is a guy that does need to get hits in order to get built up. So his super attack effect, he raises attack and defense for 1 turn, does supreme damage to the enemy and recovers 7% HP. And then his passive is attack and defense 180, reduce damage received by 40%. Then he gets an additional attack and defense boost up to 120 based on the more HP you have remaining. So the more health you have, the higher the buff you get. We get an additional damage reduction of 20% when all allies attacking in the same turn are Realm of Gods. I've built a full Realm of Gods team for this build for the purposes of showcasing him. And then he launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super, starting from the turn in which he receives the 6th attack in battle. So you can see we are going to take, what, 5 attacks in slot 1 straight away here, which is pretty good. So what do we start off as defense-wise? 271k. That is with the defensive support from Gowasu and Zamasu. Now, the one big drawback to this guy, obviously, is that he doesn't have big bad bosses. But remember, we do have, because we are getting the full Realm of Gods rotation here, we do have 60% damage reduction for him as well. So, it'll be interesting to see. I know this is obviously not the hardest event or anything, but him taking a super early on, because one good thing about this guy is the fact that you can get hit by a super in slot 1 and then heal at least a little bit of that back, right, with the 7% heal on super. So additional definitely seems like it would be very useful for him, right? Not only is he raising his attack and defense for the turn, but you're getting another 7% HP. Once you've been hit 6 times and you get that extra attack from his passive, that means he could potentially super 3 times in 1 turn, which if he does, it means he's healing you like 21% HP. Which, considering this team, I mean, this team build is probably not the craziest one we could have built, but we have 642,000 HP. So we definitely could get a lot of healing out of him getting multiple super attacks, which obviously be very good. I do like running Meki Kabura on this team. I thought I would bring him because of the just the full Realm of Gods rotation thing. I probably should have made the key a little bit better there for him at the end, but it doesn't matter too much because he's not going to even get a chance to attack at this rate. Between Rose and Zamasu here, and then the LR Fusion Zamasu, I would imagine we kill this guy, right? Because we actually do have big bad bosses active now with the LR Zamasu as well as a few extra links here. So I think we should, yeah, quite easily be good. So we only need to get 1 hit now, and it says starting from the turn in which he receives the 6th hit, which will be this turn, as long as he gets hit once, right? So he should be able to get his additional attack in this very turn. So let's see. We got a full Realm of Gods rotation. So we get 4 links with you. What's the extra one we're getting? Is Fear and Faith. What does Fear and Faith give us at level 10? Let's have a look. Fear and Faith, level 10, is all enemies 10%, minus 10% defense and 2 key. So not going to be super useful in some circumstances, but definitely can be pretty good. I think we'll do this here. So let's go for these. Grab these and then grab, I guess we'll just get this. So where's his defense here now? So it's 230k without support. We do have 60% damage reduction. So yeah, obviously he's going to tank the normal perfectly fine. 4 million. I mean, the damage is not crazy, but that's not really what we're here for, right? We're here for the, there you go, we got a crit as well. And then there's the additional from the hidden potential, although sadly it was only a normal attack. So yeah, I mean, the thing is, the damage he does isn't really necessarily that important, because he's very, very good defensively. And then, of course, we have the healing with each super attack. So obviously, the getting multiple supers in 1 turn just means more and more healing. This Zamasu team does have a ton of ways to get healing built in. So I'm trying to think what I would probably say is the best build for him, because the thing I've seen people complain about him when his details came out, so he needs a full Realm of Gods rotation. So if you're running him on Zamasu's team as a floating unit, then it basically means you're, you know, if one of your two main rotations has a non-Realm of Gods character, like, for example, Piccolo Jr., who a lot of people like to run on this Zamasu team, then obviously that is a direct hindrance to the Int Zamasu getting his full passive active. He does at least get to super first, but then he's not getting the extra damage reduction. Now, the other thing you could do, which we could do with this team build, because we've bought units like Mechikabra, who does have big bad bosses, is put the Int Zamasu in slot 1, have him tank hits, potentially then heal, obviously, after he's maybe taken the hits in slot 1. And then, of course, we get the... let's do this. Yeah, and then, of course, he gets the heal when he then attacks, right? So even if he takes a super in slot 1 and takes a pretty decent amount of damage, once he's got that build-up, he can definitely throw out a couple of supers and heal a lot of that HP back. Mechikabra, I just am absolutely fumbling with the orbs here. I'm doing a bad job. I'm making him look bad, which is a shame. I mean, he's good on this team sometimes, but clearly here, where we're not running like a load of extra key support and stuff like that, I've not been doing very well with the orbs. Tanking Oceanus for double digits after the 1 super is pretty good as well. Because again, remember, with the full rotation, we have 60% damage reduction, so I feel like he definitely looks pretty decent. The thing is going to be, of course, trying him out against one of the harder enemies. So we will have to do that at some point. I think as we start to... it'll be interesting to take a look at what these teams look like by the time the worldwide celebration comes to an end. Because another big thing that will benefit towards the build of this team, especially if you talk like from what I was saying with the... you know, having Int Zamasu in slot 1, LR Fusion Zamasu in slot 2, and then having a bunch of units floating who can then provide big bad bosses to the LR Zamasu in slot 2. If we do end up getting one or both of the Int Goku Blacks EZAing in part 3, then obviously that is going to make a huge difference to this team. Now, the problem is, of course, if either or both of them EZA and are, you know, more than good enough to be a main rotation unit, then it means it's just kind of another instance where that Int Zamasu kind of gets pushed off the team, which is a little bit unfortunate. I mean, if you're running the full Goku Black and Zamasu type build, so all the units are Realm of Gods, then I feel like he could be very good as a floating unit, because it's going to take a while for him to get built up enough for him to actually be getting that extra additional super. But he is obviously going to be healing you along the way. He raises defense on super before he attacks in the last slot anyway. So I think he will be pretty decent. It's just obviously a shame, as we've already said, the fact that like the normal base Zamasu doesn't have big bad bosses. So how much do we take from this? So we take 30, okay, well 14k, basically nothing, right? And then when we super attack, yeah, we go up to full HP. And because he's fully built up, there's a second super, and then there's the hidden potential again. So hidden potential, obviously triggering is really good there, but unfortunately we did not get a super twice in a row. But I have seen Calcs like fully built up and actually getting 3 supers. He can get up to a pretty reasonable amount of defense. I think the highest calculation I saw was like 600k, but that's with, I think, some of his extra defensive links active. Like, for example, we've got Gawasu and Zamasu in slot 3. If we had them next to him for the extra links, I think they share... They both have Cold Judgment. I can't remember if the Int Zamasu actually has it or not. Which, of course, is a bunch of extra defense as well. So, let us... I guess we can use the domain here. It's not going to give us a ton of benefit here. As we are fighting an extreme enemy. Although, let's double check. I'm now getting confused between him and Gohan. Yeah, it's just damage received by super and extreme enemies. So yeah, that doesn't really help us at all here. But you know, Sky Zamasu comes out. He is sealed though, which is unfortunate. We'll do that, and we'll do that. I mean, this team, like I say, can have a lot of healing options because Mechikabra, decent unit on the 200% team, gets big bad bosses, heals with rainbow orbs, and can heal a pretty decent amount. So I do quite like running him on the team. He is a little bit outdated for some of the harder content for sure, especially like the tough tech bosses. But I mean, I used him in the no items run against Vegito Blue because he does lower attack as well. So if one of the later red zone stages comes out for the final stages of Dismal Future and we get a tough STR boss, then Mechikabra could still be pretty decent on this team. He's just not going to be the best at tanking super attacks, unfortunately. But all right, so Zamasu, yeah, so Zamasu's hovering around typical like 230k. Now, the big problem is going to be when we go into the harder events, right? So say we go up against like Red Zone Broly, for example. He's not even, you know, he's not the hardest event in the game anymore, I don't think. I think he's still up there because of how annoying the AoE phase can be. But his super attack does over 1 million damage, which means that in slot 1, this Zamasu, if you have the full Realm of Gods rotation, so you're getting 60% damage reduction, that's dropping that down to somewhere around 400k, which then means with that level of defense, like pre-super, he's still taking like almost 200k. But then, ideally, like, I mean, that's not bad for a super attack that does like 1 million damage, right? And then the idea is that he would then super attack and heal you most of that back, right? Especially if you are actually getting the additional supers. So I do think he seems pretty good. This Zamasu team, I think, definitely does need a couple of like finishing touches. Obviously, we all wanted there to be a Carnival LR Goku Black for part 2, and now we are just kind of relying on them actually giving an EZA to one or both of the INT Goku Blacks. Like I said, we've got the INT LR Rose, we've got the INT Dokkan Fest transforming Goku Black. As long as one or both of them gets a really good EZA, that will obviously be another very strong piece for this team. And I could see Zamasu making it onto this team build, maybe as a floating unit. But again, like, a lot of people like to run Piccolo Jr. Now, you probably don't want, if you're running Piccolo Jr., you're running him for like how powerful he is. So you probably don't want to be floating him off and having him as like a 3rd slot floating unit. But you technically could float him and the INT Zamasu, so then they never end up on the same rotation together. So then the INT Zamasu is still always having a full Realm of Gods allies rotation. So that's one thing you obviously could do in order to make the most of his passive. But yeah, I definitely think he is pretty decent. We will have to see how he holds up against the tougher bosses, but so far so good. Nova does hit relatively hard with his super, so I actually really would like to see him super attack Zamasu in slot 1 here, and then us potentially get the heal, but sadly not. I mean, tanking everything for all the normals for double digits, which is good. Be interesting to see how well he fares against like first form Cell, because we are obviously going to have type advantage. The Red Zone Goku Black, also the Zamasu, which ends up being Zamasu and Goku Black, right, because that final phase is tech. I mean, there's definitely some of these newer difficult events where he could actually have a really good role in that event. So he dodged Mechikabura's super and then supered him. That's outrageous. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section of the INT Zamasu. I definitely think that he is quite a good unit. I think the biggest problem with this Zamasu team now is it's missing those like maybe one final unit, 1 or 2 pieces to make it really, really over the top. And unfortunately, as good as this Zamasu is, I do think, as we've already mentioned multiple times, like having him have a restriction where he has to have a full Realm of Gods rotation on a team where people weren't running like a full Realm of Gods build, it does then make it feel like a bit of an awkward addition. So, but we'll see. So the domain's going to run out here. Let's go ahead and put him in slot 1 and tank all the hits here and see what we can get. We do have, yeah, so we get Cold Judgment active with these guys, which gives, is it 25? Yeah, 25% defense. So that puts him at 339k, so basically 340k start of turn. So we'll go ahead and do this, and then do this, and we'll see what happens here. If we get supered immediately slot 1, we may die. Well, here we go. Let's see. So, oh, 100k. I mean, I know, again, this event isn't that hard, but, I mean, this Ice and Nova, to be fair, at the end of the Shadow Dragon's Red Zone, they absolutely can just completely blow away type disadvantage, like enemies, right? So, pretty good. And then we did only get the 1 super, but we healed a pretty nice chunk of that damage that we took. So, yeah, I think he's pretty decent. I think he's worth a spot on the team, depending on how you build it. You definitely can get a good, like, full Realm of Gods only build in order to have him be at his full potential. So I think he definitely is looking like a solid unit. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.